From the Jeffrey Epstein files being released, to libs of TikTok being banned on Facebook, to Iowa keeping weird sex stuff inside of schools, we have a very weird show. So without further ado, let's dig in.
Facts over tracks, isn't that spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas, think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past.
So, like I just said, the Jeffrey Epstein case has now been revealed to us. Finally, we've been waiting years and years and years to finally hear what exactly happened on Jeffrey Epstein's island. Who actually went there and what actually went on at the island. Now we know already, we can infer exactly what happened. We can infer that Prince Andrew went there. We already know all of this stuff. Listen, we already know. But we want to hear it firsthand. We want to hear it from the people that were actually there. We want to hear about the people that we do not know about. There was 200 plus people that actually went to the island. Who are these people? Can we know who these people are? Are we allowed to know who these people are that actually went to the island? Yes, we are. We should be able to know this. Now, all they released to us is all the transcripts of them interviewing a victim of Jeffrey Epstein that was actually sex trafficked to the island to have sex with people. Now, we are going to be covering all of this. Now, if you do want to stay up to date with all of this information, please like and subscribe down below because I will be keeping you updated on here and on my Twitter. My Twitter handle is Arujo Demetrius. Now, I did tweet this yesterday night at 11:12 p.m. If you do want to check that out as well, I have a Twitter thread of all of the most important moments from this court case here. People are starting to look at it now. So we will be revealing all of the key takeaways from this. So I read the whole entire 96-page court testimony and the court breakdown and the court transcripts of it. And these are the most important takeaways that I'm going to have you know right now. So, starting from the top, we have, do you have any notes of the people that you were sent to? No, I don't. Where are your notes? I would burn them. So, the people that she was actually sent to are the people that she was going to have sex with. Where did you burn them? I was a bonfire when I lived in Tootsville because I was sick of going through this shit. Did you always have lawyers who were representing you at the time you build a bonfire and burn these notes? I've been represented for a long time, but it was not under any instruction of my lawyers to do so. My husband and I were pretty spiritual people, and we believed that these memories were worth burning. So you burned notes of the men whom you had sex with while you were represented by counsel and legislation, correct? This was not anything to the public document. This was my own private journal, and I didn't want it anymore, so I burned it. Question. This is another question, page 204. Was she in the room with you when you gave erotic massages to the owner of a large hotel chain? No, she was not in the room. By she, they mean Maxwell. No, she was not in the room. She was just in another cabana. And other than telling you to give the owner of a large hotel chain a massage, do you remember any other words that she used to direct you in what you should do? No, not at this time, no. Where were you when Miss Maxwell directed you to have sex with Marvin Minsky? She said, I do not know. Where did you go to have sex with Marvin Minsky? I believe it was in the United States Virgin Islands. Jeffrey Epstein's island is in the United States Virgin Islands. And when was this? I don't know. What, do you have any time of the year? No. Do you know how old you were? No. Other than Glenn, okay, these were the list of people that she was forced to have sex with. Not forced, but, she was paid to have sex with. Glenn Durbin, Stephen Kerfman, Prince Andrew, Jean-Luc Bernal, Bill Richardson, another prince, the large hotel chain owner, and Marvin Minsky. Is there anyone else that you would like Ghislaine Maxwell directed to you? Is there anyone else that Ghislaine Maxwell directed you to have sex with? I'm definitely sure that there is, but I cannot remember everybody's name now. Where were you sent by Ghislaine Maxwell to have sex with Jean-Luc Bernal? Many places. Ghislaine Maxwell sent you to many places to have sex with Jean-Luc Bernal. It happened at many places, yes. You had sex with Jean-Luc Bernal at many places. Is this what you're saying correct? I was sent to Jean-Luc Bernal at many places to have sex with him. When did Ghislaine Maxwell send you to a place to have sex with Jean-Luc Bernal? Me to answer the impossible. All right. When did Ghislaine Maxwell send you to have sex with the owner of a large hotel chain? I'm going to keep answering the questions the same way I keep answering them. I don't know. Okay, all right. So, did you spend your 16th birthday with Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein? No, I was 16 when I met them. So, now that I know the correct dates, I would like to say that I have spent my 17th birthday with them. So you represented that you spent your 16th birthday with them. And with Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein, that's them. That was not true, correct? At my ability at the time, that's what I believed to be true. It wasn't until I found the Mar-a-Lago record stating in the year 2000, me being born in 1983 would make me turning 17 that year. So please describe me your 17th birthday that you claim you spent Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. I remember spending a birthday with them on Jeffrey Island called Little St. Jeff's. I wouldn't say it was a party. I would just say that Ghislaine met me, Jeffrey. I believe Emery Taylor was there, and I got some presents from them. What presents did you get? Ghislaine Maxwell gave me a bunch of makeup, little boxes of different kinds of eyeshadow and lipsticks to just makeup all together. Jeffrey gave me a bracelet and I think earrings. What kind of earrings? There were diamonds. Any other presents? I just remember makeup and jewelry. I don't remember much else. And that was your 17th birthday, you said? Hard for me to really pinpoint exactly which birthday it was. Are you aware of distinguishing physical features of Ghislaine Maxwell? I can tell you that she has a very large natural breast. I can tell you that her pubic hair was dark brown, nearly black. I don't remember any specific birthmarks or moles that I could point out that would be relevant. Continuous. Name one girl that Ghislaine Maxwell had sex with in your presence. Emery Taylor. I mean, that's the name that I know well because Emery was always around. I'm trying to think of her name. Sorry, Sarah. Her name used to be Sarah Kellen. I think she changed it now that she's married. Pronounce her last name properly. But I can't pronounce her last name properly, but it's around those lines. There were a lot of other girls, and I honestly can't remember their names. I'm sorry. I wish that I could help out more because I really would like to provide more witness for this, but I cannot remember a lot of the girls' names. Okay, did you observe Ghislaine Maxwell forcing any of these 4 girls to have sexual contact with her? I don't remember any of the girls involved really truly willing participants in doing it of their own wanting. I believe all of them were there for one purpose, and that was to keep Jeffrey and Ghislaine happy and to do our jobs, which was giving them erotic massages and keeping them pleased sexually. Okay, do you know what the word force means? Physical force? If you mean like held down or a gun put to their head, then no. Okay, but force in a word, like a way of coercion. There was definitely indirect threats that, these people were powerful. They had a lot of contacts and they were very wealthy. They were people you did not want to cross lines with on a bad way. Okay, what threats did you hear Ghislaine Maxwell state to you? Just reminders of the prominent people that she knows personally. When did Ghislaine Maxwell remind you about prominent people that she knows personally? It was on a constant basis. I mean, there was not just one time that she said it. It was like a reminder. Jeffrey did a lot of more of that than she did, but she definitely made it aware that we shouldn't cross boundaries with them or what would happen. Like I said, it was more of an indirect threat, and it doesn't make an intellect to figure out what they meant when they say that they are powerful people and they're very wealthy and they know a lot of people. Okay, and you had met these people at what age? I don't know what age I was. I'm sorry, I was very young. I was before I met Jeffrey and Ghislaine. Is there any girl that you personally observed to have sexual contact with Ghislaine Maxwell that when she was under the age of 18? It's very hard to tell how many girls were under the age of 18. My instruction from them was that the younger the better. And again, them who told you that, they both, Ghislaine in the majority of the training. In the beginning, Jeffrey also insisted and told me lots of things as well. Okay, so you know that you don't know any of the age of the other girls that you saw that Ghislaine Maxwell had sexual contact with. Is that true? And the lawyer said objection. And then they said, okay, so I asked you to describe them. So can you give me a height or hair color, anything else that comes to mind? There were blondes, there were brunettes, there were redheads, there were beautiful girls. I would say the ages were between 15 and 21. Why do you believe these girls were aged between 15 and 21? Some of them looked really young. Some of them, I wouldn't even say that they looked 21, looks old or anything like that. But it's hard to gauge another person's age without really asking them. But some of them really looked younger than me, and some of them looked older than me. And in what physical locations did you see Ghislaine Maxwell have sexual contact with any other girl? 100% the United States VI. Where? Jeffrey Island. Okay, so do you have any photographs of yourself on the island? I know I used to, but they would be left at the apartment. What other locations did you participate in sexual contact with Ghislaine Maxwell other than on the island? Everywhere. New York, Palm Beach. Where in New York? The mansion? Jeffrey's mansion, she said. Okay, anywhere else in New York? Question. Not at their townhouse. Anywhere else in New York? No. In Palm Beach? At their house in Palm Beach? Yes. Anywhere else in Palm Beach? No. In New Mexico? Yes, their house. Anywhere else in New Mexico? No. What other countries? France? England? We also, if we're going to talk about other countries, we've got to talk about international travel space or plane space or whatever you want to call it, because it happened all the time on the planes. Who else was present during your supposed sexual contact with Ghislaine Maxwell on this occasion? It wasn't supposed. It actually happened, and Ghislaine Maxwell was present. Jeffrey was present. I believe Emily Taylor was present as well. Anyone else? There was someone else on that trip with us, but they weren't involved with the sexual activity at that time. Okay, so what was another location in France? I believe the same exact place. We stayed there for a few days. Okay, so 3 locations are hotel in Paris, same place. Correct. In the second and third place were the same trip? Yes. Okay, to whom did Ghislaine Maxwell sexually traffic you? You have to understand that Jeffrey and Ghislaine are joined by Hip. Okay, so both of them trafficked me. Ghislaine brought me in for the purpose of being trafficked. Jeffrey was just as part of it as she was. She was just part of it as he was. They trafficked me to many people, and to be honest, there's people I could name, and then there's people that is just a blur. There's just so much happening. Okay, please name a person Ghislaine Maxwell directed you to have sex with. Prince Andrew. Okay, anyone else? As a whole, they both trafficked me to people. It was under both of their directions, so it's not easy for me to just say Ghislaine Maxwell. When I say they, I mean both of them. Okay, well, I need you to say the time that Ghislaine Maxwell directed you to have sex with another person, so can you please tell me whom Ghislaine Maxwell asked you to have sex with another person? Glenn Durbin. Who else? I'm going to continue to tell you that they both directed me to do it. It was part of my training. They both told me, you've got tickets to go here. This is who you're meeting. This is who you're doing. So, Redacted is another one. Ghislaine Maxwell directed you to have sex with Redacted. Object to the form to the extent it mischaracterized her testimony. I'm trying to tell you that they both did. Ghislaine and Jeffrey both directed me. They both paid me, and they both directed me. All right, when did Ghislaine Maxwell direct you to have sex with Redacted? I don't know the time. I don't know. You know. I could tell you the place. I couldn't tell you. Yeah, I could tell you the place. I don't know the time. So you're saying Ghislaine Maxwell directed you to have sex with Jeffrey Epstein? Correct. Ghislaine Maxwell directed you to have sex with Glenn Durbin? Correct. What words did Ghislaine Maxwell tell you to have sex with Glenn Durbin? It was the same as all of this. All right. They want me to go to provide these men with a massage, and by massage, you know what they mean, erotic massage, and then they say massage, that means erotic, okay? That's your term for, I think that there's plenty of other witnesses that can attest to what the massage actually means, and I'm telling you that Ghislaine told me to go to Glenn Durbin to give him a massage, which means sex. Okay, so Ghislaine Maxwell told you to give massage to Glenn Durbin. Correct. Is that your testimony? That is my testimony. All right, Ghislaine Maxwell told you to go give a massage to Redacted. Correct? Correct. Ghislaine Maxwell told you to give a massage to Prince Andrew. Correct? Correct. Ghislaine Maxwell told you to give a massage to Bill Richardson. Correct? Correct. Yeah, so that's the key takeaways right now, but we do have some more that is being revealed right now. Do you see that Donald Trump at Jeffrey's home? Not that I can remember. On his island? No, not that I can remember. In New Mexico? Nope, not that I can remember. In New York? Nope, not that I can remember. All right. If you could turn to the second page and read through those, let me back up. Do you know if Bill Clinton was a friend of Jeffrey Epstein's? I know that he had dealings with Bill Clinton, and I did not know that they were friends until I read the Vanity Fair article about them going to Africa together. Question. Did Jeffrey Epstein talk to you about Bill Clinton? Answer. He said one time that Clinton likes them young, referring to girls. So yeah, so things keep getting revealed every single day. Things are slowly being revealed. Obviously, there's a lot of exhibits to look through. There's a lot of reading to do. I do have the website right here. I am going to link it under this Twitter feed. So if you do want to head over to my Twitter, it's going to be, again, Averjo_Dimitri. I will tweet the link that you can actually find all of this resources, because I'm not lying about any of this. These are all resources from a direct link that you can actually download. It's all the 96 pages of this. You can actually go and see it right online. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tweet this right now so everybody could just take a look at it. So right here, and I'm going to pin it to my profile. Okay, so if you do want to check out all of the documents, you can actually download them right here. A lot of people are disliking this because of the fact that it's a lot of pages. So I think that what people are looking at is they're looking at it and they're saying, oh, this is a lot of pages. That is a lot of pages, and it's actually worth the read, because this is actually this is exactly the 20 different articles that people are listing in one document right here. So that's all you need to read. So it's very, very interesting to actually see this. It's very, very interesting. I do recommend you go and check out all of this. Read the whole entire 89 pages. That's what I'm looking at now. So read all of this. You can even read it online. You do not have to download the whole entire 96 pages. I downloaded it, so I have screenshots of all of it, just in case they decide to delete it, because I do not trust anything online. I always download it because they can remove it in a heartbeat. So if you do want to check it out, it's still online right at the second. I did tweet it out, so check out my Twitter at Averjo Demetrius. With that being said, we're going to be moving into the Media's Takes. Check out Shop.Averjo Studios, because I do have new stuff on this store, which is actually 15% off. Use code NEWYEAR. For the last couple of years, the mainstream media, entertainment, and everything in between has been pushing a particular agenda. That agenda is that boys can be girls, and that you can be a teapot if you want to, and your cousin can have sex with a Christmas tree. Roll the clip.
So I began to stop daily at this particular oak tree, and I began to lean against it, began to hold it and feel held by it, and I noticed that I was experiencing erotic attraction.
I'm not lying. It's sad that a few people speak from the top, and then the rest of the people have nothing to do with it have to follow. The people from the top know that everyone wants to feel special, so they allow everyone to make up their own pronouns, adverbs, adjectives, and more. This is a complete redefinition of how our language works, but I really would not count on Gen Z for clarity on how to talk. That's a different conversation entirely. Today, I'm specifically talking about the LGBTQRSTVWXYZ community. It's ridiculous on its face that gay people have anything to do with, quote, transgender people. It doesn't make any sense, just like how they want to add minor attracted persons, aka a pedophile, into the group. It makes the whole entire group look like they are targeting children. And then they start complaining when they say that people are targeting children. Just the same as the they, them, z, their, peer, chair, bear, dare. All of these people make up their own labels that mean absolutely nothing, and everyone knows it. Even the people that were forced into the same exact group as these knuckleheads, lots of people agree with this. But when they go on social media platforms to give their opinion, they get banned. Social media platforms, like before the Elon Musk era, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. It's crazy that the mainstream media would have you believe that there is a consensus on this topic, but they are completely wrong. They instead ignore or work hand in glove with big tech platforms to deplatform any and all opposition to this very agenda. This is what they did in the past with a certain virus in 2020. We can't talk about that on YouTube still to today. That brings us to a major group that consists of gay and lesbian people who do not like the ideology being forced on children. Or that group, I should say, gays against groomers. But the whole entire idea of being gay or lesbian also. This is because everyone knows that kids need to be left alone to, be a child, not forced to make a decision that will, in fact, ruin their life forever. More like the transgender thing, and you cut off your genitals, and then now you need to choose if you actually want to be a quote-unquote girl or be a quote-unquote be a boy. Does not make any sense for a child to choose that. The major leaders for this LGBTQRSTVWXYZ community make up a game for children to play to see if they would actually transition and they are actually a transgender. It's called the button game. In it, you picture a button in front of you and close your eyes. If you can change your gender and all of your fantasies would come true, would you push the button? If you say yes, then you're transgender. Congratulations. But there is one problem. Well, Actually, there's many problems. That's a completely different topic entirely, but we can actually focus on the major one. If you think that you are, in fact, the opposite gender, why the hell would you disagree with yourself in this made-up fantasy world? It does not make any sense. It's stupid on its face, just the same as everyone that pushes this garbage, not only on kids, but also adults that are confused. This is why groups like Libs of TikTok is very important, so they can see where this ideology takes us. But, of course, the major tech sites don't like it because it outlines the exact videos that people have a problem with. Facebook, of course, hates having this on their platform, so they ban it, as if it's not still up on TikTok without being touched, but whatever. That's why Elon Musk buying X was such a great idea, because that completely took the aspect of censorship out of the equation, because they cannot control X any farther. With that being said, we do have a full show of all the other news that is going on, so without further ado, let's dig in. Starting off, we do have a Daily Wire article. We actually have exactly what I was talking about at the beginning of this show. Libs of TikTok actually was suspended from Facebook. So, according to Chaya Rechik, which I'm going to butcher that name, owner of Libs of TikTok, on their social media, her Facebook page was suspended on Saturday. Rashik also posted a screenshot of an email from Facebook reading, quote, "The page Libs of TikTok has been suspended for going against our community standards. You cannot visit the page you cannot visit the page at all, and you will not be able to add new people to work on the page." Libs of TikTok was suspended from Facebook today. This censorship is ramping up as we head into the 2024 elections. Buckle up. The Daily Beast reported that the account was restored after Rashik appealed the suspension, but on Sunday morning, the Facebook page displayed a message that read, "This content is not available right now." In December of 2022, journalist Barry Wellis revealed how Libs of TikTok was placed on a trends blacklist by Twitter. Before the Elon Musk era, obviously. This is 2022. And that a special note was placed on the account that said action cannot be taken on this account without consisting of SIPPES, which is the Twitter files, by the way. The account, which Shia Reshik began in November of 2020 and now boasts over 1.4 million followers, was subjected to 6 suspensions in 2022 alone. Rashik says each time Rashik was blocked from posting for as long as a week. Was said. Twitter reportedly informed Rashik that she has been suspended for violating Twitter's policy against, quote, hateful conduct. However, those at the highest level of Twitter secretly admitted that they knew Libs of TikTok did not violate any of the site's rules, yet they wanted the account suspended. In October of 2022, Libs of TikTok was reportedly thrown off social media platform Tribal just 20 minutes after joining. Libs of TikTok reported that Chaishik also had posted images such as "men cannot get pregnant" and "men cannot become women" and "women cannot become men." Great news. Tribal just successfully fought off a wave of trolls that came over from notoriously racist and homophobic Libs of TikTok page. Our algorithms identified their bigotry and suspended their posts, exactly as intended. Tribal support posted, adding, "As you all can see, none of this hatred will be available on Tribal," confirming Tribal as America's premier social media network of kind, intelligent individuals. Libs of TikTok and their army of trolls were given a lifetime ban. Okay, so Tribal is not going to work out. Congratulations. Tribal was supposed to be this big platform like, oh, we're going against Twitter. No. Tribal is going to up and fail in the coming years. You could not have a social media platform that you do not allow people to actually, socialize. That's the point of a social media platform, guys, right? Socializing on a social media platform? Wait a second. Judge blocks Iowa law. Okay, so we do have another article here. So, obviously, that's stupid on its face. Again, you cannot have a social media platform without socializing. If people are not talking on your social media platform, then you do not have a social media platform because nobody will talk on your social media platform. Whoa, mind-blowing stuff now. I know, this is a revelation. A lot of the people on the left, the more leftist people, they do not have common sense whatsoever. I just got a comment a couple days ago saying that we should only have a one-party rule in America. Which, okay, congratulations, you want China. Is that what you want? You want Xi Jinping to come over to America and rule over America? Because that's what you want when it comes to a one-party rule. And then who exactly rules the United States? Which party? What, the party that you like? Yeah, totally. That's going to work. It's just very stupid over here. So we do have another Daily Wire article here. We have Judge blocks Iowa law keeping sexually explicit books out of schools. So a federal judge in Iowa on Friday blocked a law intended to keep sexually explicit books out of schools and prevent elementary school students from being taught gender ideology in the classroom. Judge Stephen Lusher, appointed by President Joe Biden, ruled that Iowa law approved a Republican Governor Kim Reynolds earlier this year was unreasonable and pre-tyrannical. The judge did allow a provision of the law that required schools to tell parents if their child was using pronouns different than their biological sex. The school should be telling the parents if they're using any of this made-up pronouns. Like, I'm a guy, obviously, I'm a guy, but even if I was using a made-up guy pronoun, the school should still be letting the parents know and saying, listen, we have your kid over here naming himself a man Captain Underpants. Like, we don't know what's going on over here. Can you help us out over here? That's what the school should be saying every step of the way. Like, we have something suspicious happening with your son. We just want you to know. If you know about it, that's fine. We just want to know about it, and we want to stay out of this. Okay, that's what the school should be saying here. Not, oh, if your children say that they're the opposite sex, we will tell you. No, because then you're leaving a gateway open for some strange, preposterous, just one little, oh, well, if we use this exception, then this exception can go, and then that exception can go, and then they don't even tell the parents anymore. So no, you give them an inch, they take a mile, or they take more than a mile. They take a whole entire, like 20,000 miles. Never mind 1 inch. They're completely neglecting the 1 inch rule. But whatever. It requires the wholesale removal of every book containing a visual description of acts of sex, regardless of context. Lusher said, the underlying message is that there is no redeeming value in such book, even if it is a work of history, self-help guide, award-winning novel, or any other piece of serious literature. Okay, so name one piece of literature that explains how to have sex. That's not a literature book that you need to have in school. And how about a self-help guide? What self-help guide are you going to have that explicitly talks about sex? What? How to put on a condom? Do you really want that in your school? No. Come on, be honest with yourself here. What self-help guide? What? How to masturbate? Is that what you want in schools? No, it's disgusting. In response to the decision, Reynolds said that she was disappointed that the children should not be exposed to sexual content and radical gender theory. The introduction on gender identity and sexual orientation has no place in kindergarten through 6th grade classrooms. There should not be a question that books containing sexually explicit content, as clearly defined in Iowa law, do not belong in a school library for children, she said. The fact that we're arguing these issues is ridiculous. The real debate should be why society is so intent on over-sexualizing our young children. It's wrong, and I will continue to do my part in their innocence. And I completely agree. Credit to that teacher, though, because everybody and their mom is trying to force our children to be more sexual. Good for this teacher to say, no, back up a couple inches here. How about you take a big leap backwards and get out of the children's life? I completely agree with this teacher. The law, Senate File 496, was challenged by a coalition, including publisher Penguin Random House, as well as authors John Green and Jodi Picoult. In addition to requiring parental notification if a child claimed to be transgender, the law also aimed to get gender ideology out of the classroom for those in kindergarten through 6th grade. A school district shall not provide any program, curriculum, test, survey, questionnaire, promotion, or instruction relating to gender identity or sexual orientation to students in kindergarten through 6th grade, the law says. Mike Bernick, president of Iowa State Education Association, supported Lusher's decision. When education professionals return to work next week, they can do what they do best: take care of our students without fear of reprisal. Iowa Attorney General Berna Bird promised to keep fighting in the statement on the ruling. I am deeply disappointed in our district's decision today. Sexually explicit books do not belong in our elementary libraries or classrooms. Not only is it common sense, but it's the law. As Attorney General, I will keep fighting to protect families, enforce the law, and keep inappropriate books out of the hands of children in school, she said. In recent years, gender ideology has creeped into schools across the country, even in conservative areas, prompting parents to push for more oversight and accountability for teachers. I completely agree. It's just completely beyond me why anyone would want to sexualize our children and then try to get away with it when we push back on them. It's just completely absurd. We have come into a time in history where absurdity at its face is now celebrated. It's crazy. With that being said, we do have another segment of the show, which we do. I don't know why I'm saying it like that, but we do have the headlines of the week, or we do have the media's takes. So now that we are less confused in this segment right here, we do have the Federalist article. We do have Claudine Gay's registration from Harvard isn't a victory the right thinks it is. So a lot of people are celebrating the fact that Claudine Gay is now resigning from Harvard, but she is getting $900,000 as a goodbye gift. And she's also getting replaced by a person that's worse than her, but that's just the problem. That's where the problem just starts. See, the problem is much larger than Gay and demands the right to go about dismantling institutions like Harvard with whatever means available. That's what the Federalist says. Let's begin. News of Harvard's President Claudine Gay's registration on Tuesday prompted understandably celebration on the right and much deserved praise for journalists Christopher Rufo, Christopher Burnett, and Aaron Silberin, who exposed Gay as a serial plagiarist. No doubt, celebration is in order. Gay was, of course, not only a plagiarist, but a Hamas apologist who shrugged off rampant anti-Semitism on Harvard's campus in the wake of the October 7th Hamas attack on Israeli citizens. In a shocking congressional hearing last month about a spread of anti-Semitism on college campuses, Gay, along with MIT President Sally Kornborth, and former University of Pennsylvania President Liz Miguel, who was forced to resign shortly after the hearing, insisted that calling for the genocide of Jews does not necessarily constitute harassment and instead depends on the, quote, context. So yes, Gay is a toxic, racist, left-wing ideologic who was deservedly hounded out of her post as Harvard president. But let's be sober about what happened here and what wasn't and what hasn't. Gay's registration is a scalp, but not quite the victory some on the right think that it is. For one thing, Gay was forced out for not appealing moral insanity she displayed before Congress about anti-Semitism on campus. But because that notoriety exposed her academic work to closer scrutiny, it turns out she's an academic fraud. In her registration letter, however, Gay admitted to no wrongdoing and instead blamed her ouster on, quote, personal attacks and threats fueled by racial anonymous. What's more, she appears to have resigned as president but retained her facility position despite her plagiarism, which shows you how seriously Harvard takes all of this. And she has no shortage of defenders step up on Tuesday after the news broke on her registration. Chief among them was another race hustler and shapeless grifter, Ibram X. Kennedy, who blamed, quote, racist mobs trying to, quote, topple all black people off of positions of power. Recall that Kennedy is himself under some scrutiny for the failure of his $40 million Center for Anti-Racist Research at Boston University, but nonetheless, not to be outdone, the greatest race hustler of all of them, Al Sharpton, declared that Gay's registration was a, quote, attack on, quote, every black woman in America. Mark Lumrant Hill, also a racist, insisted that the next president of Harvard, quote, must be a black person. On CNN, Matt Ergen turned himself into a meme on Tuesday saying, quote, we should note that Claudine Gay has not been accused of stealing anyone's ideas in any of her writings. She's been accused of, short of more like copying other people's writings about attribution. So it's all sloppy attribution than stealing anyone's ideas. Thanks for clearing that up, Matt. That's exactly why we are mad at them. We are mad at her, I should say. The stark reality is that Gay's registration will not change the fundamentals Harvard has no intention of blocking anyway, or backing away from. This is the so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion. This is the DEI ideology that propels Gay to the president's office. Nor does Gay herself see anything wrong with the DE&I agenda as such. Indeed, during her tenure, first of dean of the facility and then briefly as president of Harvard, she built what Rufo called the DEI empire, creating a host of new programs and campus initiatives to impose a radical racist ideology on every facet of the university life. Following the death of George Floyd, an event that precipitated her eventual ascent to Harvard's presidency, she launched efforts to rename buildings and programs deemed racist, remove historical portraits of white men, and establish a sprawling DEI bureaucracy that, as Rufo put it, seeks to influence how students speak, think, and behave in relation to race. In Harvard, now going back and undo all of Gay's work on this front. After her disastrous performance before Congress last month, the university removed most of its DEI materials from its website. But do not hold your breath waiting for Harvard to abandon the work Gay pursued as dean and president. Why? Because of committed leftists. Defeat isn't an option. I'll reteach our tactical only. The overall mission distinguishing Western civilization remains the same. In other words, this is not about Gay or Kennedy or any other person or institution. The problem is nearly all of the academia, not just Ivy League schools like Harvard or Penn, but most schools, large and small, is rotten to its core, hollowed out by leftist ideologues who want to destroy Western civilization and transform society. Having achieved nearly perfect ideological homogeneity in academia, having eliminated conservative or right-leaning academics from their facility ranks, the left is using their institutions it has captured to revolutionize every aspect of our life. So I completely agree with that. It's just crazy that after all of this, after she's being exposed, after Harvard was being exposed, and all of academia was being exposed for being a big fraud that just does not want to teach kids anything actually important. They instead want to teach kids a particular agenda in which they graduate. They are just like the teachers that taught them. Instead of them admitting that they were wrong on every single facet, they would instead just want to blame one person and then just have that one person resign and then act like the whole entire thing's better. No. Do not go to these colleges. We've been talking about not going to these big academic colleges forever because they push a particular agenda on anybody that goes. You will graduate and have a completely different ideology. You would have a completely different ideology than what you first went in when you first went into the college. So it changes your opinion on everything for the worse. It does not teach you good and proper liberal arts anymore. And it does not teach you anything that you need to get a job and be successful. It does not teach you any of that. So the fact that they're charging so much money just shows you the fact that all of these teachers are in all of these departments that they are creating just takes all of the money out of that slush fund that they have that money in, and none of that money actually goes towards the schools or goes towards the education of the schools in your kids' education that you're sending them to. It's not an accredited school anymore, and it has not been for years. This is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to all of these schools, and I completely agree with this article. We do have a Federalist article. We have Joe Biden apparently helped Hunter defy a subpoena. So why is Trump the one being charged with obstructing justice? Well, that's because of the fact that they have a target on Trump's back and they have a neon sign, glowing sign on Trump's back saying, me, pick me. They have that target on Trump, and then Trump says, okay, well, I'm going to do what everybody else does. Let me just do what everybody else does over here. And then they're like, oh, why would you do that? You're an evil person. But he's doing the exact same thing as everybody else. So why is it him that's being targeted? That's because of the fact that they already hate him. So he does what everybody else does. So let's just say that he doesn't pay all of the proper taxes because of the fact that there's loopholes for people that have businesses, because of the fact that you have write-offs, because of the fact that you provide to America, you make American-made products. So now they say, okay, well, since you're making American-made products, we're going to give you a big incentive to keep your business here in America, as they should. So then Trump uses those very same loopholes that everybody else does in America, that if you have a business, you can use these loopholes. So then he says, okay, let me just use this loophole right here so I don't have to pay a lot of taxes, just like all of Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos doesn't pay any taxes, just like Bill Gates. Bill Gates does not pay any taxes. Let me just do exactly what those people are doing. He does it, boom. You're not paying any taxes. Well, of course he's not paying any taxes, because neither do all of your best friends. And he said this in 2016. That was the best thing. So, moving into the article here, so I don't get ahead of myself. Did Joe Biden counsel his son to defy a congressional subpoena? The House Oversight and Judicial Committee chairs want to know, as part of their impeachment inquiry, because of if the president colluded with Hunter Biden over the latter's refusal to appear for questioning. Joe Biden committed a crime of obstruction of justice. Yeah, ironically, it is Donald Trump charged with criminal obstruction of justice, even though the former president did nothing to keep evidence or witness from Congress. Last Wednesday, Rep. James Comer, the chair of the House Oversight Committee, Accountability Committee, and Rep. Jim Jordan, the Judiciary Committee chair, dispatched a letter to the White House counsel concerning the president's apparent communications with his son regarding Hunter's decision to defy a congressional subpoena. As the letter detailed, the House had subpoenaed Hunter Biden to appear for a December 13th, 2023 deposition as part of their impeachment inquiry. However, rather than appear for his deposition, Hunter Biden instead held a lengthy press conference at the United States Capitol on December 13. Later that day, when asked whether the president has watched Hunter's performance, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said President Biden was, quote, certainly familiar with what his son was going to say. As the House's letter noted, quote, Ms. Jean-Pierre's statement suggests that the president had some amount of advanced knowledge that Mr. Biden would choose to defy two congressional subpoenas. In light Ms. Jean-Pierre's statement, the letter continued, we are compelled to examine the involvement of the president in his son's scheme to defy the committee's subpoenas. Comer and Jordan cited two federal criminal structures, 18 U.S.C. and 1505, and 18 U.S.C. and 2A. The President Biden potentially violated Section 1505 and is part of the federal criminal code that criminalizes, quote, obstruction of justice offenses, providing that whoever corruptly endeavors to influence, obstruct, or impede the due and proper exercise of the power of inquiry under which any investigation or inquiry is being had by any committee of either House or any joint committee of Congress. The subject is to fine and imprisonment up to 5 years. Section 2A, for its part, creates criminal liability for anyone in the commission of crime, aids, abets, counsels, commands, induces, or procedures. Based on the press secretary's statement that President Biden was certainly familiar with what his son was going to say, to determine whether the president violated Section 1505 or 2A. Comer and Jordan requested from the White House any documents or communications exchanged by the executive office of the president and Hunter Biden and his legal team, considering that the deposition of the president's son. Okay, so out of nowhere, I just got this report that Karine Jean-Pierre is going to be fired. So Karine Jean-Pierre just set Joe Biden up to get criminally charged for 5 years. Could get criminally charged for 5 years. So this is actually very, very funny. This is actually very funny to me because this is exactly what the left gets. If the left is going to open up a Pandora's box, then they cannot act surprised when the right uses that very Pandora's box to attack them and what their policies are. So if Trump makes a screw up, then Trump gets charged. But then if Joe Biden screws up, then Joe Biden does not get charged. No, this is not how it works. No, you're going to get charged just the same as everybody else is going to get charged because you want it to be equal. You want it to be equal justice under the sun. That's what Joe Biden says. This is no excuse for democracy or whatever the hell. So Listen, if this is what you want to play, if these are the games that you want to play, then the Republicans are not going to hold back when they're playing these same exact games, these same exact rules that you would like to play against you. It's like if you're playing a game with a child and the child keeps making up rules, and then the parent is like, you know what, if you're making up rules, then I'm going to make up my own rules. You can't make up any rules. Haha, that's my rule. So it's like, if you're not going to play fair, then nobody's going to play fair at all. There's no safe zone anymore. There's no safe zone, and this is because the Democrats opened up the Pandora's box. It's not because Republicans opened up the Pandora's box. It's because Democrats opened up the Pandora's box in 2016 when they questioned the election and Russian interference collusion theory of Trump winning only because Russia influenced the election. Now, this opened up the Pandora's box so that in 2020, people can say no. Well, if people can rig, quote unquote, the election in 2016 to get Trump to win, why can't they rig the election for the opposite? And then they can't answer that very question. So, I mean, both are wrong. Nobody rigged the election. Everybody voted. There is some questions about the election in which that got brought up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court justices that Trump appointed actually ruled on those very cases. So yes, you can say whatever you want about this case. There was questions of the 2020 election. So yeah, of course, there was. But at the same exact time, we need to sit here and we need to realize this simple fact here is that if the Democrats are going to play these shady games, then the Republicans are going to play these very same games. And don't act surprised when they do. I mean, this is just disappointing. We have an article from The Independent. So for me, when I was a kid, I was a huge Star Wars kid. I watched all of the original two trilogies of Star Wars. I always got excited about Star Wars. Ever since I first found out about Star Wars, I was like, well, at first, this is the funny thing. When I first heard about Star Wars, I was actually a little bit scared of Yoda. I thought that he was a very scary person, but then when I watched Star Wars, I was like, Yoda's not actually scary. So then I was just over that fear immediately, but it's very upsetting now because of the fact that the Star Wars director says that it's about time that a woman shaped a film for the franchise. And she also says that she's going to be replacing a lot of the main characters with she's going to be like this is her own words. We're in 2024 now. It's about time that we had a woman come forward to shape a story in a galaxy far, far away. When the film was first announced last April, it was confirmed that Daisy Ridley will return as Rey, and it will be set 15 years after the events of Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. It has not been revealed whether Ridley's other co-stars, such as John Boyega, Oscar Isaac, and Kelly Murray Train, will be returning. At the same Star Wars Celebration event in London last year, it was announced that James Mangold will be directing the film based on The First Jedi to discover the Force. Billed as a biblical epic inspired by 10 Commandments, the film takes place 25,000 years before the original trilogy. It was also revealed that Dave Filoni, the director of the forthcoming Star Wars series, Insula, who has been involved in numerous Star Wars projects, will be directing a film set between episodes 6 and 7. The movie is said to involve an epic battle and will draw upon elements in old expanded universe and serve as an endpoint for series threads in several Star Wars series, including The Mandalorian. So it's just very, very interesting here because this is making it out to seem like a good thing, but the fact that the director's already saying that it's about time that a woman has to take control about a movie and stuff like that. Listen, if you make a good movie, you make a good movie. If you don't make a good movie, you don't make a good movie. This is just so disappointing to me because if you're going to make a good movie, just make a good movie. Why does it matter if you're a girl or a guy? Just make a good movie. Okay? That's all we want you to do. Make a good movie. People would watch the good movie because it's a good movie. So simple to understand. With that being said, that's going to sum up this episode of the Demetrius Ridgio Show. If you did like this episode and you do want to see more, please like and subscribe down below because I do post new episodes of my show every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And if you do want to support me and everything we do here at Ridgio Studios, more things are very much in the works. Check out Shop.Ridgio Studios because I do have new stuff on this store, which is actually 15% off. Use code NEWYEAR. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for enjoying, and I hope they have a great rest of your day.